Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Getting right into the conversation of Palantir. We are at this crossroads that is very interesting right now with Palantir, and I think it's this place of where, this is why I'm saying, can it make it out of this? Can Palantir make it out of this? This is very interesting. So we've had Palantir sell down to this, what we thought was going to be $100, and, it survived that, went right back up into this level where we've had it for quite some time here in the past few months of this high 120 level, even breaking into a low 130, which is amazing. Now, obviously, last week we had some big moments with tech coming back, AI coming back, and the market sold off Thursday with some job reports, but even Palantir here kind of held it together. Now, quarterlies are coming out in the beginning of August, and I don't think anyone should be worrying that Palantir is going to fall on quarterlies. It's quite the opposite. We're expecting another great quarterly, and it's just the same kind of conversation of how big are they going to be, and is this going to be the one that they blow past $2 billion quarterly? I think there's a great argument to say they could. It's probably a safe bet, if not right at it. But two, we've seen Alex Karp be very vocal lately, give interviews, and in a very Alex Karp interview, if you will, here lately, kind of just off in a rant. Alex Karp rant. The thing that we're seeing right now in this whole place of AI is that there is obviously competition. There is obviously competition with business, with who's looking at what AI stock right now. And this is where you're seeing the fundamentals of each of these CEOs of these AI companies kind of argue about different areas of AI, security, privatize moments, where they're going. And this is where you have Dario, who is the CEO of Anthropic, being more vocal about this and having some issues with the United States government because of how strong not only Claude is, but Mythos being another place of theirs, into coming to the market at the end of the year here. And then we have OpenAI. What does that look like? What does that do? Sam Altman, that's a whole nother bag of bones there. But then you have Alex Karp, who already is the CEO of Palantir and very vocal about AI and where it's going and the safeties of it, and this curtain that needs to be there with it and how it interacts. Palantir being in this business area of privatize, governtize, areas of business is still growing at a rapid pace. And Anthropic, being the monster that it is, has went more into the public atmosphere, and which is why with Claude they are able to have this grow at such an unbelievable fast rate. Think about just a few 2 million people that have bought Claude for $20-$30 a month, depending on what versions you're getting. This is why Claude is growing. Anthropic is growing from Claude at such an enormous rate, not to mention other applications that they have with it. With Anthropic, their business. Palantir right now, getting into the conversation, Palantir, where this goes from here, I still think there's a crazy amount of fight that Palantir can give, the general market, and that investors will support it and hold it. I think it's more dangerous to say that Palantir is going to sell into this $40, $50, $60 level as what some bears are out there saying. Of course, they're going to say that. They want people to be scared. They want people to sell it. Now, is there a possibility that maybe we see some sell-off here towards the end of August into September with the general market, before we get deeper towards the end of the year with where the market may pump going into a little more a political season in the market? Absolutely. This is where I do wonder, July may be a fantastic month for Palantir. Palantir may do unbelievable gains. But what I wonder and kind of worry at this moment is, after these quarterlies, more than likely, what is Palantir going to do over the next 30 days in the market? It's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably going to tick up more and more. Every week we'll get a little more out of it. It's already showing signs of that. Now, by the end of July, going into August, quarterlies, is Palantir going to be back in a place of 150, 160? Could be, might be. But after that, this is where I think there may be a huge reset in going into this place of OpenAI may be in the market by then. At least we know where it's going to be. And two, by the time we get to Q3s, this is where Anthropic enters the conversation. Does this help Palantir get more attention? Does this start a good old healthy competition in the market? Does Anthropic come to market and crush Palantir in the sense of no one really cares about Palantir right now, because why would I buy Palantir making $2 billion quarterlies when Anthropic is over here making enormous quarterly, just growing even more? So it's really an interesting conversation. I don't know that, and this is kind of where I beat myself over the head with this too. There may be a conversation the rest of this year where Palantir never hits back at a $200 range because Anthropic is going to crush that road. And that may be something that even, Alex Karp is expecting and knowing. There's definitely a battle of CEOs right now before us, and it's very interesting. But in the bullish conversation of Palantir, I still think obviously a fantastic company, and they're holding this the next 5-10 years is going to do enormous gains for your portfolio. So it's still a great company. And two, there's probably a real road here of where Palantir jumps even more financially and starts to really push into more aggressive finances going into the next few years here. So keep that on your head too, and know that that's a pathway that more than likely will take place here. So good luck, everyone.